So today's Cardinal lesson, we're talking about one of the tools that we use frequently in our financial plans. So people come to us and they lay out their funds, they lay out their IRA, their other savings that they have, their Social Security check, and we're explaining their options with that. And it's kind of like one big thing. And there's a fear going on there is that, and I can relate to this, is that when I retire, the paycheck's going to stop. That's my last paycheck. And now all of this is going to need to create an income, in my case, for my wife and I to live on for the rest of our lives. And that's pretty scary to stop that paycheck. And so this is a tool that we use, and seldom do we just sell people like one of these things and nothing else. But this is just a tool that's useful in setting up an income stream and then guaranteeing that income stream for either a period of time or for life, which is the example over here. So I just really want to bring Tom on before I get started on this and talk about why are we doing this video? What's the purpose here?
Yeah, I mean the why is one of the big concerns that we see all the time is you might come in, you're retiring, you have this balance that you've saved up, but you don't have this paycheck and you're always asking, well, we might be recommending why don't you delay Social Security? We'll talk you through all the reasons why that might be. So, well, I still need income. And so what we want to do today is really show you how you can use this tool, an immediate annuity, in different ways to set up a guaranteed stream of income that will last for, like Han said, either a period of time or for life. And in the video, we'll give you sort of case studies of when you might want to set something up and why you might want to only pay it for 5 years or 10 years or for life. I mean, we'll get to in the video, but that's the why. And I do want to bring up the show notes here. And so these are, you can find these at the link below of this video. They're also on our website under the show notes area. We have the board. We have the actual illustrations that we ran for the board here. So I'll just go through those, show you real quickly, the 5 years, the 10 years, and then one for life. And so if you want to look at them, take a look there. Just know that these can change. These rates are different depending on when we run them, what state you're in, how old you are. So and call us if you're really interested in getting a quote of something specific for you.
Okay, so we're going to show you the tools for financial plans. And I guess I'm going to start over here on the left side of the board. And I'm going to show you, this is our Social Security delay tool. And we have several case studies where people start their Social Security early or a little bit early. They started at 65 when they're doing Medicare if they're retired. And they've been looking forward to this. And they say, once I retire, I got no paycheck. So I want some money coming in, so I'm going to start Social Security. And if they're starting it at 65 and their full retirement age is almost 67, and waiting that long, and then when you look at the values they could get at 70, we'd like them to consider waiting, because when we run all the numbers on all of that, especially for the larger check of a couple, it may very well benefit them to wait. And of course, people are only going to do this if they have substantial other assets. But we're planning for the rest of their life, monthly income and prosperity. And so when we're in a situation where we're recommending that you delay Social Security and they've got other assets in their 401k or IRA, and most people don't really have any idea how to distribute money out of their assets or pay themselves an income, we're going to use this tool. And this is a 5-year guaranteed paycheck. Okay. And the example we've put up here is for $1,000 a month. And $1,000 a month isn't going to get you very far, but that's just to make the multiples easier. So if we came up with an example, let's say we had a couple and they were both 65 and they hadn't started Social Security yet. They don't have any other income. They're both retired, and they could get $3,000 a month right now at 65 for him, $2,000 a month for her, or $5,000 a month is what they wanted. And that's what they were going to get for their Social Security check if they kicked it on now. And so in replacement of that, we'll take 5 times the $55,000 that it costs to buy this income. You take 5 times that, it's about 275,000. Stick it in this, start a $5,000 a month income that starts in February of 24, and the last paycheck that they're going to get is going to be January 3rd of 2029, right when they start their Social Security. And so, and then their Social Security won't be 5,000 a month. It'll be probably more like 7 or 8. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers on this. This is the point is we're going to take a small chunk of their assets. They have large assets, put it in here to create the appearance of a Social Security check, the value of a Social Security check, and then delay Social Security. Now, we might have a compromise. We might say the smaller check, we're going to go ahead and start that now for $2,000 a month, but we're going to delay the Mister's check for the $3,000 to wait for the 70 higher benefit, because the survivor of the two is going to live on that higher Social Security check. So then we might only do 3 times this, or 165,000 of pay-in to get a $3,000 a month check for 5 years. I mean, it is that simple. This is not a real exciting product. It's just a tool to move the clock ahead with something that feels and tastes like a Social Security check, but yet it's coming from an insurance company and bought with your money. Okay? Now, last week, we did a video on inherited IRAs, and we came up with the 3 types of beneficiaries. And we stated that most beneficiaries are going to fall under the 10-year rule. And so, which means that the account, the IRA account that was owned by the deceased, passed to you as the beneficiary. If you're the adult child that's inheriting this, you've got to distribute that over 10 years, or you could wait till the 10th year and just pull it all out. But that would create a real bad tax event in doing it in the 10th year. You also could pull all of it out in the first year right away, another bad tax event. So this thing is very useful if you just want to be rid of the problem, rid of the concern. And so this is showing an example of a 10-year $1,000 a month. So if you had exactly 97,000 or close to 100,000 that you inherited in an IRA and you fell under the 10-year rule, you could start this thing and it just send you $1,000 a month. Every month we could withhold taxes out of that, and it would just pay it out very neatly and cleanly, average the benefit, or average the taxation over the 10 years and the income as it shows up on your tax return. And you wouldn't need to refigure this stuff every year. You could just set it and forget it. Now, but people don't inherit exact amounts. I mean, so let's just say you inherited $250,000 in a traditional IRA. And so when you do that with simple math, you could say, well, that's $25,000 a year that I pull out of there, and then it'd be empty by the end of the 10th year. But then if it grows, what's in there makes those numbers different. You could throw 250,000 in this, and then you'd get checks for about $2,500 a month, 20 thereabouts, maybe actually a little bit more. The whole point being is this is very simple, very boring, but they can withhold taxes out of this. We can help you set that up and estimate. Just set up a withholding and you set it and forget it. Now, we also want to know that it isn't just 5 years or 10 years. Like as an example, we had somebody that was already 1 year into this inherited IRA business, and so they have 9 years to go, and we just set up one of these things for 9 years, and then they get a little bit more by the month because it's over a shorter period of time. But these can be set up and timed so the money's distributed to you. We had another case study where somebody comes to us and they have a big investment pool. It just kind of scares them to be pulling money out of there off a bouncy fund, and then they're uncertain how much. And so they bought a very large one of these just to get them 5 years out. And then, so they don't have any variance in that. And then that gave them the freedom with the rest of the money to take some risk, knowing if the market has a pullback during those first 5 years. It would have been devastating if they'd left all their money in there. So this is a tool for us. And really the third one, it's over here, is what most people think of when they hear the word annuity. It's a replacement for a pension. I mean, that's really what pensions are, is a lifetime annuity. And so what we're showing an example of is somebody that would both be 65. They want the income to start now. They don't want it to stop until they're both gone. So in other words, if one of them dies in their 70s and the other one lives into their 90s or 100, they're going to get the same amount of money if just one person's alive, or it's 100% survivor. That's what we've created here. You put in 182,000. You start next month, you start getting $1,000 a month, and you're going to get $1,000 a month till the second person is deceased. So it's an undefined period, but there's a period certain on this thing of 20 years. So if both of you were gone before 85, your heirs would still get the $1,000 a month for how, till they'd finished 85. Or in other words, this thing is guaranteed to pay out 240,000. And I read on the chart, if one of you lives to 95, it's going to pay out 360,000. So it's an uncertain payout because your life expectancy of two people is uncertain. Now I want to bring Tom on, and I want Tom to share with us a bit what he thinks about all this.
Yeah, I mean, I think what this really illustrates is this is just one specific type of an annuity, a single premium immediate annuity. And there are all sorts of different types of annuities. And so, one thing I just want to point out is a lot of times you might hear the word annuity. You don't really understand what that means, but you have some conception of, maybe I don't want that or I don't like that. And it's just really, we view these as tools. And we've really laid out three situations where this tool might fit. It might be appropriate for you. Delaying Social Security. You're retiring at 65. You have 5 years to wait. You can see the benefits of delaying Social Security, but it's a little bit worrisome to watch your money go up and down in the market. It's been invested. It goes up, it goes down, depending on what's going on there. And you're having to pull money out at the same time. I mean, we've talked about in other videos, sequence of returns risk. This really helps prevent that, where we set aside a chunk of your money. We would never put all of someone's money in any one of these things. It would just be a portion of your money to set aside some income to allow you to delay Social Security. And then once you start Social Security, you got that check guaranteed for the rest of your life. And that Social Security check does adjust with inflation. It goes up over time. And so that's one of the main benefits of delaying that check, starting it, and then having that last the rest of your life. The inherited IRA, again, this is just a specific situation where you have this money, it has to be distributed out of this IRA over a 10-year. Maybe you don't really want to worry about it. You don't want to have to manage it, and you just don't really want to think about it. This is a great tool to use to be able to send you a check. By definition, it's distributed over the time period it needs to be, and then you get checked more extra income every month going forward without having to take that market risk. And then the lifetime one is just pretty self-explanatory. It's like you want to create a pension, you don't have one, maybe you want to create one for yourself. This is a tool to be able to do that, where you have this lifetime income in this situation guaranteed for the life of both spouses. I will point out the 5-year and 10-year really it doesn't matter how old you are, because they're just paying out for a defined period of time. So whether you're 80 or 60 or wherever you are in between, those are going to be the same payouts. This lifetime one does matter how old you are. The older you are, the more income you get based off the money going in. So again, if you're interested, call us if it fits inside an overall plan. These are tools we use. It's certainly not something we use for every client. It just really depends on their certain situations.
Yeah, and what I might add about this third one is we can actually create a better income by taking this amount, or in other words, if we were wanting to take the 1,000 a month as a simple thing, buying one of these with 55 grand, and then taking the 130 grand that's left and putting it into something that we don't take anything out of for 5 years, it's going to actually generate a better income for life for two people, taking that product and a different product and creating the effect of this. So, this is just demonstrating one product from one type of product from one company that we use as a tool. So again, we do financial plans for people. We cover Social Security, Medicare, long-term care, IRA, 401k, income and investment, estate planning, and income taxes and estate taxes. We put all that together. And so any one of these videos is usually just talking about one little piece of that whole financial plan. So we want to go through the 7 worries. And we're talking today, we talked about Social Security and perhaps delaying it, getting the inflation from it. We talked about 401k IRA, because that's what's usually going in to fund these, although there's tax advantages if you use non-qualified money or not IRA money to buy one of these or part of it. We talked about income and income for life. We talked about estate planning, where we're talking about the beneficiaries, and we talked about taxes. So I want to bring Tom back on. I'm Hans Scheil.
And I'm Tom Griffith.
And we thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you.